Hey Fae folk, welcome back. So for today's video, I want to start off what I hope will be like an infinitely ongoing series on this channel, and that is me doing monthly recaps. This is definitely not like the most unique concept. I know a lot of other doll content creators do something similar. Plastic Hearts has been doing these for a hot minute, and then as the time of filming, just a couple of days ago, the Plastic Critic did a little like January recap where they talked about the dolls they didn't buy and how much money they saved versus like the dolls that they did end up buying. And I love content like that. I love consuming content like that. But also, I was like obviously inspired by them. And then I was also inspired because some of my favorite videos that I ever get to make on this channel are my end of year videos. This past year, I did like a whole rewind where I went through every single doll purchase, and I loved making that video to say the least. But even like just the more sort of generic top and bottom dolls of the year, like I love filming year end videos. I just think there's something so fun about a recap, a rewind, like looking back. And so I was like, I should also do that. I feel like it would be so fun to do that on a monthly level instead of me just like waiting until the end of the year to get to fulfill this like joy. I can just do it every single month, and I can do monthly recaps. So that is what you're going to be doing today. Mine is going to be like slightly different. I'm not going to go over every single doll that I bought this month, but I am going to highlight a few of them. You'll see as we go on, like what I mean by that. I have my little notes over here so I don't forget what I wanted to talk about. Because in addition to things where it's like, oh, this is my favorite doll I bought, like, oh, check this doll out or whatever, I also wanted to just be able to have these recaps be like a little chit chat session where I talk about like anything that might have gone on in the doll community that I either didn't already talk about in another video or that I wanted to elaborate on more. I just thought that that would be sort of fun. So that's the sort of style we're going to be going with for my monthly recap. Again, if that didn't make the most sense, because it makes sense in my head, but I'm like, would anybody else know what I'm talking about? Just keep watching. It'll make sense by the end of the video because you will have seen the recap. As with all of my videos, though, everything that I say is just going to be my opinion. It's chill if you disagree, but just like be nice about it in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in to looking back at the first month of 2026, everything that was going on with January. So to get started, first off, we have to talk about the fact that this video has gone up at all, because if you pay a lot of attention to my community tab here, you might have seen that originally speaking, this video concept was something that I had intended to be member exclusive, and I had intended to launch a YouTube membership. And obviously, by the fact that this is publicly visible to everyone, that did not happen. And I did just sort of want to talk about why. If I seem awkward, it's just because I honestly feel like genuinely kind of bad about this. So sorry if my energy is a little bit strange, but like I just want to be honest with you all, and that means being a little bit vulnerable, and that's weird, but it is what it is. So yeah, I had originally put out a poll and been like, hey, I'm thinking about starting up some YouTube memberships, and this is the video concept that I would want to put out every month for memberships. Is that something that you all would be interested in? And I do feel bad for the verbiage that I feel like I have to use, because I did get a negative response, but I don't mean negative in any way that like implies blame to you all, anyone who voted or commented on that post. Technically it was two, because like I changed the wording and one of the answers. It doesn't matter. But like that's not meant to say that any of you did anything wrong. In fact, I actually feel quite the opposite. I'm very grateful for all of the feedback that I got, even if it was like technically negative. But I did get a negative response in the sense that like people did not enjoy the idea of me having a channel membership. And I do just want to be super careful here, because the way that I have to talk about this is going to sound like I'm disparaging other content creators, and that's literally like the last thing that I ever want to do. But I'm just summarizing what was said to me. So I don't know. Okay, this is why I feel so awkward saying this. But before I say it, I want to be really clear. I don't judge any other content creators who have memberships or who monetize their content in other ways. Like, that is not my business. It's like a job for some people. And even if it's a hobby, like I can understand wanting to have some supplemental income. Like, I'm not here to judge anybody else, but I did receive some comments specifically saying that one of the main draws for my channel is that I do have like fewer ads than some other content creators. Again, like I'm not trying to dunk on anybody. Really and genuinely, I'm not. I feel awful. I'm just reiterating comment. I don't know. I feel so mean. Like I don't want anyone else who makes content to see this and be like, wow, Rain thinks they're better than me. What an asshole. Because I don't think I'm better than you. I actually don't think I'm better than anyone. Like, I'm so mean to myself. But point is I got comments being like, yeah, you put like fewer ads than some other content creators do, and you don't do sponsorships, and you don't have a membership. So like everything is very easily accessible. It's about as easily accessible as it's possible to get on this platform, because I do have to put some sort of ads in there because I do need some sort of income so that I can keep buying dolls and talking about dolls with you all. But that was like a response that I got a couple of times, and a couple people even said that if I were to become a channel that is like very clearly more monetized, they would consider unsubscribing, which is fine. And it's not that it was like, oh shit, I can't do memberships because then I'll lose subscribers. Like, I lose subscribers constantly for various reasons, and then new people come in, and like, if you want to stay subscribed, that's great. If you don't, that's fine too. Like, it's not that serious. So it wasn't that, but it was more like I hated the idea of disappointing anybody, and I really really hated the idea that anyone would see that and be like, "Oh, Rain just wants more money." Like, that wasn't really the intention at all. And like, I know that sounds dumb because I'm saying, "Oh, I was thinking about starting a membership." But like, I really genuinely was just like, I don't know, that seems like the natural progression in content creation, and whether that's good or bad, we could have a debate. That's We're not going to get into all that. But it did just feel like, okay, yeah, I've been doing this for a while. Like, a lot of other people also have memberships, and it seems like people enjoy those memberships. So I genuinely was looking at it as like, this could be fun because, again, like, my main mentality genuinely and truly was, oh, I see people on other channels and it seems like they are enjoying being a part of this membership. So it wasn't, oh, I can get some more money, because like, I full throttle was going to have the membership cost $3 max. Like, I wasn't going to earn really that much from having a membership. I was just looking at it as, maybe this could be like a fun way to engage further with you guys and like provide extra content for some people. I don't know. It seemed like something that could be fun and that could be like a bonus for y'all. I don't know. I feel dumb saying that out loud, but that's genuinely what my thought process was. And obviously that did not come across. And I just felt so like sick. Again, I'm genuinely not being like, oh yeah, other people who have like memberships are so greedy, because people seem to enjoy those. It's just like different people watch different content for different reasons. And it just seems like you all are not the type of people who might enjoy a membership. And that's fine. Like, I genuinely am not judging you at all. And as much as it was like, oh my God, I feel like I've come across wrong, and I feel like I've accidentally sort of made people feel like I'm in this for the monetary gain. Like, that is the part that hurt me. But as much as it hurt, it was like really, really good to get that feedback, because then I could go, yeah, I can't do this. I can't have a membership because I don't want that to be the perception. I don't want to make people feel like that. I genuinely don't know how to say that in a way that doesn't sound judgmental and assholey. So all I can do is hope that what like the genuine intentions are behind it. But yeah, basically I just thought it would be something that would be like fun for everybody involved. That was not how the concept was received. So immediately I was like, well, I don't want to make people upset. I want to make people have fun. So instead, we're just making this video publicly available for everyone to enjoy, and hopefully you will enjoy it. That'd be really awkward if everyone's like, I hate that. But yeah, that's like the reason that this isn't going to be a membership thing, and the reason that I will not be doing a membership on YouTube. So that's the awkward part out of the way. The other order of business before we can start talking like dolls is a little bit shorter, and that's just the fact that I did take a brief break. Not like a break, but I lightened my workload in January a little bit. If you are a like longtime subscriber, you will know that generally speaking, my upload schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that every once in a while I'll throw in a bonus video. And for January, I just like desperately needed a little bit of a break. Not a full break, because I will in fact go crazy if I can't talk about dolls on the internet at all. Like, at this point, I just have so many video ideas bouncing around my head all the time. Like, I need to be doing something on here. But I was also like, okay, you're really stressed out between this and like real life situations going on. Like, you just have too much on your plate. You got to pull it back. So for January, I went with Monday and Friday videos, with again the occasional bonus video thrown in, because I simply could not resist the urge to keep posting. So going forward, I think my plan is to definitely continue with the Monday and Friday videos, and then have Wednesday be sort of like my dedicated bonus video day, with the assumption that I'm going to end up posting on Wednesdays like at least twice a month, because I very clearly can't stop myself. And I might end up going back to like the for sure 3 videos a week at some point in the future. I'm just still I'm just still a very stressed out person. And so I feel like if there's at least the option to be guilt free not uploading on a Wednesday, I think it's good to leave that open. But I also think it's good for it to be like, hey, you're not strictly on a break. So if you want to upload on Wednesday, that's totally fine. So that's the vague update. I hope that makes sense. For sure, Monday and Friday, you can bet on getting at least some Wednesday content as well in February and going forward. But that's just sort of the schedule that we are working with for the current moment. If it changes, obviously, I will update you all. But those are like the serious things that I had to get out of the way. Now we can actually, like I said, get into the dolls, which is why you're here to begin with. So, within the realm of talking actual dolls, the first thing I wanted to do was crown my favorite doll that I bought this month, and that is the Scare Screams Fang Club doll. I just think she's genuinely so exquisite and so amazing. When I made my video, like reacting to the fact that she was coming out, I think it was that one, or it might have been my review of her. One of those 2 videos, I said that I already know she's going to be in my top 10 of the year, which is crazy for a January release. And I'm not saying an exact spot, because like she could be 10th, she could be like second, or maybe even first. I'm hoping, just because I want to keep getting really like fun dolls. I'm hoping something else could take the cake, but like she's incredible. She's going to be somewhere in the top 10, so obviously she was going to be my favorite doll purchase of the month. I will say there was one other doll that came close that I can't show you because I haven't featured her on the channel. She is going to be part of a haul at some point in the future whenever I have enough dolls to do a haul. She's very exciting and I really, really love her, but you're just gonna have to be a little bit patient with me and she will get a video eventually. But even with her in the running, Scarah still takes the cake. Like, I just think she's so incredible, and I feel like she has such a unique design for the Monster High dolls that I have in my collection. This is my first Scarah, and like, what a Scarah she is to be the first one. So like, she is absolutely my favorite purchase of the month, and like the doll that has perhaps been in my head the most this month. And I know I already made 2 videos on her, but I had to shout her out a little extra. The next doll I wanted to highlight is a doll that I have not shared with you here on YouTube, but I have shared over on Instagram. So if you saw my doll goals for 2026, I made like a whole video about my goals as far as collecting and like my collecting behaviors and everything like that. I said that because I make videos, I end up doing okay, I should say I've ended up doing all of my unboxings on camera for the last several years, and I love doing it. But sometimes I also miss the feeling of just being able to unbox it all just for myself. So I've decided that for 2026, I want to have $1 a month that I don't do an unboxing for, I don't do a review for. I just get to unbox that doll just for me. And like I said, I did post her on Instagram, but like, I didn't make a dedicated video for her. So we're just going to take a second to show you the doll that was my Just For Me doll this month. And it is the Bratz Going Out Yasmin. Some of you may be shocked because I did not like this doll at all when they came out. Like, she was just not my vibe. I didn't think she was the worst of the group. That was absolutely Chloe, but I was not feeling her whatsoever. That being said, when I had seen her in like person, when I just was browsing like the aisles at Walmart and Target and stuff, I would see her and be like, wow, I don't like her outfit, but her face is so, so gorgeous. And so she recently went on sale for like $12. And I was like, okay, at that point, I can definitely justify getting her just to have the base doll, and I'll just change her clothes and it'll be fine. And then I unboxed her and took the jacket off because she came with a brown jacket that I do like. I have it still, like I saved it for other dolls. But I took it off and suddenly I understood the outfit, which is ridiculous because it's not as though we didn't have stock photos showing what she looks like without the jacket. Like, I already knew, but there was just something different about seeing her in person. I just felt so much more excited about her, and I loved her entire design a lot more. So she was my Just For Me doll, and I was already excited to get her and have, just like I said, the base doll to redress. Like, I was excited to play around with her, but I was so pleasantly surprised to also just like her exactly as she comes, and like, just to be able to experience having this for myself, I think did feel really weird and like quite special just because it is something that I haven't done in so long. It was really, really fun to just unbox it all at my own pace and just have her and go immediately from unboxing to washing her hair and thinking about like, oh, do I want to change the outfit? Don't I want to change the outfit? I don't know. It was fun. This is gonna sound so like corny and conceited and stupid, but it was fun to be like a normal person about a doll for once. So I definitely think that this is a good practice for me to be doing, and I do plan on. I mean, obviously it was a goal, so I'm definitely going to continue doing it for the rest of 2026. But like already 1 month in, I'm like, this was a great decision. This was a great goal to set for myself. So this is my little just for me doll for January that I mean, she was just for me in terms of the unboxing, but I had to share her with you somehow. So I think I'm probably going to continue doing this format where when I get my like just for me doll, I will probably post them on Instagram, and then in my monthly recaps, I'll end up showing them on video in case you don't follow me on Instagram, because I know a lot of people don't even like have Instagram or just don't like the app, which fair enough. So yeah, you'll still be getting to see them, just not in unboxings, and I think that is quite fun for me. I suppose if you wanted to be technical, this second doll could actually be considered another doll that was just for me because I got her in the mail and immediately opened her up and didn't share her on the channel. But that is specifically because I bought a doll to use as a mini me. Another one of my goals for this year was that I wanted to make at least one mini me because I feel like that's such a common and fun thing to have as a doll collector and especially as a content creator. And I just don't have any mini me's for any of the brands that I like. And I think that's ridiculous. So I wanted to at least make one mini me this year. And I have started and I've acquired a base doll for my Bratz mini me. She's not done yet by any means, but I do have the base doll at least. This is an Express It Jade that I got secondhand off eBay. So far, the only changes that I've made, I'll insert like closer up pictures so you can see it because I'm going to end up like just looking at her and petting her hair because she's so soft and so nice. But I did add a little bit of green into the eyes. She did have like a decently close eye color for me, but like I have a little bit more green in there. So I added just like a tinge to make the eye color a little bit more accurate. And I also amplified her eyeliner because my favorite way to do my makeup, at least in the current moment, is to go really heavy black on the bottom. I feel like you can see that. I don't know. I just like, for me, I don't have a lot of upper lid space. And so emphasizing the lower lash line, I think is quite fun. And so I did amplify that on her as well. I definitely want to do more with the makeup. I just haven't decided yet whether I want to change the lipstick color. But I know I want to add some blush. I need to get an outfit for her and have her like fully settled though before I can like finalize the makeup, it feels like. So that's the other thing. I definitely need to get her an outfit. Not that this is terrible. Like this is not a bad outfit, but I just want to have something like a little fancier, a little bit nicer for my mini me. And I got her glasses. I was so excited about this. Like they came in and I put them on her and I honestly could have cried. They're like exactly perfect. It's crazy. I got them on AliExpress. It was really hard to find brat size glasses. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if they just have a weird size head and so people like don't do it, or if the Bratz fans are not really big on putting glasses on their dolls that aren't sunglasses. Sunglasses are super easy to find, but regular glasses, I was struggling and I finally found this pair on AliExpress and they could not be more perfect. Like that immediately made it go from, oh, this is Jade to like, this is starting to look a little bit like me. And I'm so excited. I do need to cut her hair. Maybe I'm not 100% sure. You guys should weigh in the comments. Help me decide because like, obviously this is not lower accurate to my hair. I don't even know if my hair is going to be lower accurate soon. Like you might see the side is getting awfully fluffy. I'm thinking of cutting it. Like I'm thinking of doing like a little bang and like a sort of layered bob situation is the best way I can describe it. Just because sometimes having the long hair is such a sensory nightmare, especially when I have to put it up in a bun. And like, I don't know if you guys get this, but I like to have it up in a bun a decent amount because I like to have it just out of my way when I'm doing stuff around the house. And when I put it in a bun, I feel like so often there's just like one hair that's pulling too tight. So I have to try like 7 times to get it. Maybe it's just a skill issue. Maybe it's actually just me and no one else can really. But like, it's just uncomfortable. Like, it takes me so many tries to get it to be comfortable, and then it always looks ugly once it is comfortable. And yes, I'm just at home. I don't have to be like, I feel like the prettiest I've ever felt in my life when I'm just around the house. But I do want to feel like decent about myself. And I feel like by the time I get my hair in a bun that doesn't hurt, I look like shit. So I've been thinking about cutting it for the sensory purposes, but also I really like how this looks. So we're struggling with that, which makes it harder to do the mini me because then I'm like, should I give her a more lore accurate hairstyle or should I just let her have this? Because like I have had hair similar to this before. So should I just leave her be? Just let her exist and be soft? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm struggling so hard with that. I can't decide if I want to cut it or if I want to just like let her exist, especially because I do change my hair like decently often, I feel like. So maybe it's better if I have a mini me with just like a basic hairstyle that will be at least the right vibes no matter what. I don't really know. But this is where she's at right now, and I'm so ecstatic, and I love the fact that I'm like starting to have a little mini me, and I'm immediately gonna want more from different brands. So this is only the start of the first one. But those are all like the actual dolls that I wanted to showcase. Now we're moving on sort of more towards the drama, and I am realizing that the first thing on my list is to talk about the drama with Scarah, and I could have talked about that while I already had her in hand and was already talking about her, but clearly I didn't think this through that well. Anyway, there was drama with Scarah's release, and I did make my video where I again like talked about the release and talked about like the fact that she existed and everything like that. And I was able to talk about some of the problems with the release in that video. However, there were more problems that I did not know about while I was filming and editing that. So I kind of needed to make an addendum and like I just wanted to address the other stuff that was going on. The first of which is the fact that Mattel Creations took away their item limit. So generally speaking, on Mattel Creations, especially for stuff like Fang Club and like these exclusives that have these like limited member like collectors and stuff like that, generally speaking, they have an item limit per customer where you can only get one or two doll per order or like per customer. Like it's not like you can order one and then go back into a separate order and get more. Like per customer, you can only get so many. And they just didn't do that for the Scarah release. And I don't know if they fixed it yet. So I don't know if they're going to fix it because I saw that and was like, that had to be a fluke. That had to be an accident because that is, while it is frustrating for some collectors, especially when they do an item limit of one, because there are a decent number of people who for collector dolls will buy two so they can have one in box and then one out of box. But even like the two, sometimes it's like, oh, I want to get one and like I'm trying to get some for my friends or whatever. Like I do understand why that can be frustrating, but the reason that it's in place and the reason that generally I am in favor of at least like the two item limit is because it helps stop people who just want to buy the dolls to resell them from getting an ungodly amount of them. Like if they can only get two, they're then going to have to use bots or something to try to get more than two. And yeah, a lot of the time they're going to be successful anyway, but it's at least something to try to stop them from doing that. But it just disappeared with Scarah with her release. You could just order 50 of them if you wanted to. And so I do think that unfortunately, probably a lot of the stock for Scarah ended up going to resellers because I haven't heard anything about those orders like being canceled or anything like that. That doesn't mean that it hasn't happened if people ordered an insane amount of her, but I haven't heard anything. And I think that was just a ridiculous thing for Mattel to do. And I thought this has to be an accident because they have intentionally put an item limit on these things before. But again, I don't think that they've fixed it since then. So I'm like, was it an accident or have they just decided to not worry about that? Because if they've decided to not worry about that, that is absolute bullshit. Like, not that I'm used to Mattel treating their customers super duper well, but are we serious? We're just gonna let people buy like as many as they want of these dolls? Like, here's the thing. I think the item limit in a certain way can harm both resellers and collectors. But I think that not having an item limit vastly benefits resellers more than it benefits actual collectors. So the fact of that being a thing on the website is just disgusting. But the other thing that pissed me off, like this was crazy, and it didn't even affect me. I'm genuinely shocked that the creators that it did affect, like I saw some posts being like they're upset. I would have been ranting and raving like y'all are impressively calm about this. Good for you. So prior to Scare, I don't know when these started coming out. I don't know. But certain content creators and influencers started getting codes from Mattel Creations where you could use their code and either get 10 or 15% off. I did not get one because Mattel wants absolutely nothing to do with me because I'm an asshole. But it was something that a decent chunk of content creators got. And so there were a lot of these codes floating around. They are one-time use per account, but like there are so many of them that you can get a good number of orders that you can have a discount on. And so that was super exciting. And apparently so many people used them on Scarah to get her as like the fan club doll, myself included. I used one to get 15% off of her, which was lovely and wonderful. Except I guess Mattel gave out all these codes and then for some reason thought that we weren't going to use them, because then they promptly made an update to the influencer code policy, because it had started off being like, yeah, this just applies to everything as far as I know. It seemed like you could use it for literally anything. And they were like, just kidding, just kidding. From here on out, actually, it doesn't apply to any membership exclusive items. So something like Fan Club Scarah, where you have to be a fan club member in order to get her. If you're a fan club member, you're not allowed to use a discount, which I think is absolute dog shit. You're literally saying, hey, the dolls that are exclusive for our like arguably most like fervent fans, like people who are willing to shell out extra money just to be a part of a subpar membership, yeah, you don't get to use the discount codes on anything that's exclusive to the membership that you paid for, because fuck you. Like, Mattel genuinely hates their customer base. It feels like that sometimes. It's just like, what are we doing? But in addition to that, they also were like, yeah, the codes are not going to be able to be used on any items that haven't been on the site for at least 2 weeks, which is fucking every item almost, especially when it comes to Monster High. Like, most Monster High dolls sell out very, very quickly. Yes, there are other dolls that don't. Like, there are some Skelectors that don't, or like Fan Club Operetta from last year. No, oh my god, the year before. Like, she was still up for ages. I don't even know if she's still up now. Like, there are definitely dolls that extend that 2 week period, but also the number of Skelectors that sell out in under 10 minutes, they're not ever making it to 2 weeks on that website. Like, they have so many dolls that sell out so instantaneously. So again, it's just saying, hey, you're a fan, you want our product, here's a code because like, thanks for loving our product, except just kidding, we don't want you to be able to use it on anything, because we want to show, like, we want to act like we really appreciate these content creators and these influencers who are showcasing our stuff, and we really wanted them to be able to like share this with their fans and have the fans get a little bit of a discount code, and like, we want them to shop with us, we want you to like enjoy buying our product. And then immediately turn around and be like, not like that, we actually only wanted it to look like we care about you, but we still want all of the money, we want to keep all of your cold hard cash in our greedy little hands. Can you tell I'm pissed about this? Like, it was so ridiculous. I will say people have tried using the codes on the Fang Vote Abby, who has not been out for 2 months or 2 weeks, and apparently they've been working. So I don't know if that's like a policy-wide thing has changed once again. I haven't seen anyone post about a new policy that they've been like let in the know about. That was not a good phrasing, but it's too late. Or if it's just Abby got like special treatment, I truly don't know. But the fact at all that Mattel gave out these influencer codes and then we're like, just kidding, we're changing the rules about how you can use them, is absolute bullshit. Like, if you as a company are like, oh shit, we're losing a little bit too much money with these codes, you have to just take the L and do it different. Because again, they are one-time use codes. Eventually people are going to stop using them because they will have already used all of them. And you just need to rethink how you give out codes next time and what the codes apply to, or if you give out codes ever again at all. But like, you have to take the L. Changing the terms of the codes post release is inherently breaking trust with your customer base. And I think it is fucking disgusting. And that's why I said I'm shocked that everyone who got codes, at least as far as I've seen, I could be missing something, but everyone who got codes, again, like, I saw a bunch of posts being like, hey, this really sucks that they're doing this. Like, I'm sorry, guys, I didn't know this was going to be a thing. Kudos to all of you for being calm, because this is another reason that Mattel will never give me shit, because I could not take a slap in the face like that and be as calm as you all have been. So like, I'm being so serious. Round of applause for you all for remaining like chill and professional, because I would have been losing my absolute mind. I'm losing my mind, and it's not even like I got to use a code for Scarah. I still got to use one like on the purchase right before they implemented this rule change. And it's not like I have a code that like got affected, and I'm still this aggravated. So I can't believe how calm y'all are being. I think that's just, I'm not surprised because again, it's Mattel and they like hate us. They won't give us good quality on Playline products a lot of the time, especially for like Barbie. They won't give us free shipping on their website ever, even if you are a member. Members really only get like a little bit of benefit, at least with the fan club. Like you get one exclusive doll a year. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an asshole and I expect too much, but I feel like Mattel just genuinely does as little as they humanly possibly can while still retaining their profit margins. And this is just another example of that, of them being like, yeah, no, the money definitely matters a lot more than the customers do. So those are my feelings on that. And then one other little like community-wide event that I wanted to talk about before we close out the video for today was the leaks of the fourth round of Creeproductions. Is this the fourth? I don't know, but we are getting reproductions of the core G1, Rebecca, Venus, and Rochelle. And we first got like in-person photo leaks, and then we later got stock photos. And when we got the in-person photos, people were losing their shit. And I do want to say, you are allowed to have feelings about it. Very obviously, you're allowed to have extreme feelings about it. Because like sometimes stuff just bothers us, you know? Like sometimes I get really stupidly invested in dolls too, and like that's fine. I get stupidly invested in books. Like there will be times where I'm reading a book and something so ridiculous will happen that I walk into my husband's game room while he's on the game and he has to mute his mic so that I can scream about how stupid this book is. And that's like maybe not a rational response, but it's just an emotional response and it's fine and it's not that big a deal. I just have my own feelings on the production releases and I wanted to talk about them. So again, if you like disagree, it's chill. It's not serious. And like if you were super upset about this, that's perfectly valid. But I honestly was just like surprised by the intensity of how much people were pissed about the Creeproductions. I do have to apologize because I'm so terrified of copyright. So I will not be using any of the like leak or in-person pictures for those dolls because I'm sorry. I'm so unreasonably scared of that. But people weren't loving how they looked. With Rebecca, the main complaint I saw was that her face was a little bit different, like the eyebrows were slightly differently placed. The Venus, the in-person Venus that we saw was extremely wall-eyed. And then Rochelle, the main critique was that her skin tone was a little bit too yellowy, and it also looked like she didn't have as many like speckled flecks going through. I will have put up here in editing like the pictures of how they're supposed to look. Or like the stock photos that we've since gotten. My thoughts in general on like each of them, I think Rebecca looks fine. Like I can see where like the particular photos that we got, like eyebrows might be a little bit different than her original release. I still think that she looks like a perfectly pretty doll. So that one's sort of like a nothing burger to me. And I do think that people were the least upset about that one. With Venus, she was bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. That doll looked bad. But my immediate reaction was like, one, we have no idea what type of like picture was taken. That was a terrible way of putting that. But like we don't know what the settings were on the camera or the phone that picture was taken with. Like it could have been zoomed out a little bit. It could have been like a wall eye lens. Like I don't know. A wall eye lens. Oh my god, that's crazy. But like a lens that distorts, you know, there are some lenses that like distort the way that something looks a little bit. Like we have no idea about the quality of that picture. In all fairness, I don't think it's fair to then look at the stock photo and go, see, they're going to be perfect just because obviously they're going to pick the best possible pictures for the stock photo. The stock photo looks a lot better than the leaked images of Venus with her eyes. But I do think it's fair to say that at least some people are going to get some wonky-eyed Venuses. I think the reason that it surprised me so much was like that happened in G1 all the time. And I do understand that there is the argument of like, yeah, but this is literally a decade later, practically. I don't know exactly when those dolls came out, but like close-ish to a decade later, if not exactly or even over a decade later. Maybe the technology should be better. Maybe we should not be still having these problems. It's not that I disagree, but also this is Mattel. And I just went on a rant about how you can't expect shit from Mattel. And it was just funny to me because it's like, it's not a new problem. The amount of Cleos from Gen 1 that are like fully looking in opposite directions is hilarious. And even when you take that out of it, every doll that is done with like these printing techniques, there are going to be mistakes, there are going to be wonky dolls. It's not that I'm trying to excuse that. It was more just that I thought it was interesting that everyone immediately assumed every Venus was going to look like that instead of assuming that it was just like a shitty picture or a shitty Venus. I don't know if that's fair. Maybe I'm just like giving Mattel too much credit after just cursing about them, but that was sort of my thought. Rochelle, I definitely see the most because even in the stock photos, it does feel like her skin has just a little bit of that yellow tinge to her. And presumably, the in person photos were not from the exact same doll as the stock photos. And I do agree that in both, it sort of looks like maybe she has less of the speckling going through her skin because when we just got the in-person photos. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I've already said that like 7 times this video. But when we first got them, it was like, okay, yeah, that one doesn't look like she has as many speckles of like rock texture in her face. But it could just be because it's random that like that could just be that particular doll. It doesn't look like it has as much. It could even be that that batch doesn't have as many of the like freckling factors. God, I can't talk today. Freckling elements and maybe different batches will have more. I do think it's like a little bit like, okay, if you see the in person pictures and the stock photo pictures, neither of them look like they have necessarily the same degree of freckling as the G1 originals. So it definitely could be a problem. I think my ultimate feeling on this, and I really genuinely am sorry if I sound like an ass because I don't mean it that way, but I do feel as though with reproductions, it is reasonable to expect a company to get as close as they possibly can to the original. But I also feel like I go into reproductions assuming that there are going to be some minor differences, especially when it's like dolls from 10 years ago. Like I just assumed that, yeah, maybe the technology has changed and should have gotten better, but also maybe there are just like things that are different nowadays that they could have achieved back then and they can't achieve now. Perfect example is the Venus was very contentious, or like people were nervous about the Venus because the original Venus from G1 had Kanekalon hair. Kanekalon hair is not produced for dolls anymore, so that was impossible. There was always going to be a difference for Venus. Now, the fear with her was that she was going to get polypropylene because when they did the reproduction of Spectra, who also had Kanekalon in her original release, they gave her polypropylene, which I think is awful. I can't believe they did my darling dirty like that. But with Venus, it has been confirmed that it's Saran, so that's like a happy surprise there. But that's just an example I'm trying to use to say there are going to be like these slight differences because things should change for the better. I think in theory, we assume that progress is made and so everything should continue to improve. But the simple fact is sometimes things are just going to change and it's going to end up being different like end products or slightly in some ways you could argue subpar products. Like I do think that the color of Rochelle's skin doesn't look quite right. I'm just assuming that whatever they originally used to make her skin is maybe no longer being produced, like that exact coloration, like that exact dye or whatever might not be being made anymore. I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs. But I guess my final verdict on it was I absolutely sympathize with people being disappointed. I just brought up Spectra. I was really disappointed to realize that that doll had polypropylene hair because I have the original one, but that's like such a monumental doll in my collection. I would have bought the reproduction too just to have another one if she didn't have poly hair because I didn't want to have poly hair on my gorgeous, darling, beautiful Spectra. So I understand completely being disappointed. I'm not trying to be like, you're not allowed to be upset. But I did just find it fascinating that it seems like the default belief is that they are going to be literally one-to-one reproductions as though they were produced in like 2013 or wherever. And they just like happened to have a warehouse full of these that were waiting to be shipped out. And they were like exactly to the letter the same doll. Whereas I'm more thinking, okay, yeah, it's been ages. Like they probably have to change certain things. And so the doll might have tiny differences. I'm really not trying to stick up for Mattel. I just that makes sense in my head. So I just wanted to weigh in on that. Was it necessary? No, but that's kind of the point of this video is just to talk about silly little things that I didn't get a chance to talk about in other videos. But I think that's all I have to say on the matter. And so I think that's all I have to say for this little January recap. Please do let me know your feelings on like this video type and everything we talked about in the comments. I am hoping that this was enjoyable for you because, like I said, this style of video where I sort of get to reflect on the past time period is so fun for me to do. So I'm really, really, really hoping that you guys enjoy it as well. So I have an excuse to keep making these because, like, I know I can make them even if y'all don't love them, but I want you to be having as much fun as I am. So sound out in the comments down below. Let me know how you feel about this. And yeah, definitely weigh in on all the topics that we discussed because I'm a yapper. I want to keep yapping. I want to hear you yapping. But that is going to conclude the video for today, guys. I hope this was fun for you all. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night, whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.